guys, what's going on? This is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to have some fun, I guess, talking about some regrets that I have, some 6-star champions that I maxed out that I really shouldn't have, to be honest with you guys. They're champions that I thought would be really solid at the very least interesting to share with you guys, and they weren't any of those things. So beyond these champions that we talk about today, it also bears repeating. I mentioned this so much here on the channel, and I'm going to mention it again to you guys, right? And feel free to fast forward 30 seconds if you already know the criteria in which I always tell you guys to evaluate when selecting your next champion to max out. And that is number one, their viability end game. So I want to invest in champions that are going to help me out towards the end of Raid Shadow Legends, not just the early in the mid game. So consider their end game viability. Best way to do that is to look on websites or YouTube channels just to get an idea of how powerful these champions are in the end game. Can you build your entire account around these champions? Second factor is versatility. How versatile are these champions? Can they go into more than one of my teams? 2 or 3 of my teams? Then I'm way more likely to upgrade them. And then last but not least is the viability of these champions. Excuse me, not the viability, the value. We already talked about that. The value over replacement on these champions. Who are they replacing on your teams, and how much better are they going to make your teams? So we'll open that last void chart at the end of the video. Let's just go ahead and jump into the champions that I regret maxing out on my account. I'm going to move myself over here. That way we can see my lovely champions. So, legendaries. My 2 biggest regrets are, first of all, Gerptuck Mossbeard, right, dude? This guy is not a joke, but he's close to a joke. All right, so the thing with Gerptuck, I'm going to move myself over again. The thing with him is I think he can be fixed very easily. I took a look at his kit right now. I think he's trash, man. I just don't think he is a viable. He's niche at best, crap at worst. And I'm going to go ahead and err more to the crap side, right? So he has the continuous heal on allies under poison. On the Druidic Boon, it removes all debuffs from one ally, then heals them by 30% of their max HP, puts a shield on them as well. The problem is Cloud of Spores, right? So places 3 poison debuffs on all allies for 3 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked, has an 80% chance of placing a block buffs debuff on enemies for 2 turns. Alright, whatever on the block buffs debuff on enemies for 2 turns. Not a bad ability to say the least. It can be a 3-turn cooldown if you want to be placing more of these poisons on your team for 3 turns, right? You're killing your team, essentially, when you have Gerptuck on the team. Now, the payoff is all in the passive, right? Allies under poison debuffs inflict 7.5 more damage for each poison debuff on them, stacking to a maximum of 30. I thought long and hard about how can we... Gerptuck needs a buff. Like, obviously, in my opinion. He's one of the worst legendaries in the game, in my opinion, again. However, what is the correct buff on him? I was getting, like, really creative and outside the box, and I thought to myself, why not just bump this number up a little bit, right? Until you get to where it's actually worth the trade-off that you're killing your team, essentially, by having him on your team, right? So why not just, make it 10%? That might be too much more damage, stacking to 40% or something like that. But is it 8.5? Is it 9%? Whatever that number is, I think they should just keep bumping it up to make it where the trade-off actually is really a value add, especially in Clan Boss and those longer kind of halls of battles in the game. But all things being equal, I maxed him out for the I put him in good gear, not anymore so much, but I put him in great gear for the review on him, and I just was not impressed. Are any of you guys getting value out of Gerptuck Mossbeard? I am not. And I tried them everywhere, man. I tried to stick that square peg into the round hole. Wasn't working for me. To McCobb, I've already mentioned him as being a regret, so I won't spend a ton of time on him, but he's an RNG-based champion. My question with To McCobb is, where are you playing him successfully, right? And look at the reviews on all of these champions. The reviews are actually really good. It just goes to show you the ratings, inside game. It goes to show you that you just can't read into these ratings in the game. At least, I don't know. I can't, at least. I don't anymore. So A1, heal reduction, whatever, on a 1 hit, whatever, right? A2 is okay, right? Attacks all enemies 2 times on a 4-turn cooldown. Each hit basically has a 100% chance when booked of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. Cannot be resisted if the target is under heal reduction, kind of whatever, right? So block buffs for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. not bad. I mean, it's not legendary, but it's not bad, you know? And it is a 2-time hitter too, so, you know, that's a highlight in his kit, right? But then it has a 20% chance of unlocking Peril, and filling his turn meter. Peril will attack one enemy 2 times, ignore shield, block damage, buffs, as well as defense. Enemy kills by this skill cannot be revived. An incredible ability is Peril, but it's too RNG based. Again, I ask you guys, where am I supposed to be using this champion? I can't use him in the arena anymore. Arena meta has evolved to seldom are matches going more than 3 or 4 rounds, right? Very seldom. And To McCobb used to be used in a year ago, or whenever he was introduced to the game, in like high-end arena, right? And with the intention of taking this battle to the extreme, taking it 10, 15 rounds where you'll get the RNG to unlock the Peril ability. But the truth of the matter is, with all the OP champions added to the game since then that already have the ignore defense and ignore shield and block damage, as well as enemy defense, there's a ton of champions that have an ability like Peril without having to get a 20% chance of unlocking it as a secret ability. You know what I'm saying? I think it should be bumped up again to like a 40% chance of unlocking it, or just putting it on a long cooldown and making this like a 5-turn cooldown Peril ability. That's it. That way you can use him in the arena and lead with the Peril, and he's a beast. So my inkling would be to take away the secret ability, or keep it as a secret ability to potentially move his turn meter up by 25%. But Peril should just be a 6-turn cooldown. I don't care. 7-turn, 10-turn cooldown, I don't care. Just make him viable at least for the arena by having Peril not being RNG based. That is my feedback on To McCobb. I cannot use him. I can't use him, man. I mean, I've tried to. He's fun. He's a cool champion, but he's always under the replacement value on whoever I'm adding to the team. He's worse than basically all the epics that I use in those spots as well. Like, I would rather have a Gala Longbraids, because she has ignored target 50% of target's defense there. She has ignores 25% of target's defense on 3 hits. So I'd rather have a dependable champion on ignoring defense than To McCobb. Anyway, let's move on here to the next one. And this regret is going to be Kaalia. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. Short rant, guys. Look at her base attack, 1597, man. Wow, that's pretty high, right? And her speed is great. Her stats are great, right? Base attack very high, speed very high at 106. So when I saw this base attack, I was like, 1600 base attack, man. That's really solid. She must hit like a truck. Dude, I don't know. Am I too cynical here? Am I being too... I don't like to be negative here on the channel. You guys know me. If I'm going to play a game, I just want to at least try to enjoy it, right? Otherwise, I'll quit the game, you know, or quit the YouTube channel. I don't need this YouTube channel. It's my 3rd channel, you know what I'm saying? But I love the game. However, I am cynical about Plarium not making the multipliers of these skills visible to us, you know? I think it's sneaky and a little dirty that we have champions like Kaalia out there with a 1600 base attack, and you think to yourself, wow, I'm going to put my resources into her. I'm going to max her out thinking that she's going to hit like a truck, and then she just doesn't because she has crappy multipliers which are hidden under the hood in this game. Man, I wish there was some transparency into, okay, if I put my resources into this champion, I know what I'm getting in terms of damage potential. And it's just not the case. She has an AoE here with a heal reduction, and again, Curse of Nullity. Again, it's just like, I thought this was gonna hit a lot harder than it does. It doesn't hit that hard. Flame Tempest, same thing. 3 times at random, has a chance at hitting landing an HP burn. You know, if you need an HP burn champion, you don't have one, I guess she's all right. She has amazing, amazing ratings in the game. All 4s and close to 5 on Clan Boss. But I don't know, man. Attacking all battles is her aura. She's squishy. She has low HP. She has pretty low defense as well. I don't see using her in Clan Boss even up till maybe Brutal is pushing it, I would say, you know? I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. Don't be judging the gear too harshly that I have on her, because I've tried her in my best gear. And again, depends on where you are. A caveat on all these champions. It depends on where you are. If Kaalia is the first epic that you pull in this game, yes, she's going to be great for you. But I'm saying in terms, we're talking again about end game viability, a champion that you want to invest in to the end. Kaalia is not it, man. Kaalia is not it. Relic Keeper, next. Relic Keeper, man. Well, again, reviews on him. He is a fusion champion, so a lot of people have him. There's almost 5,000 reviews, 10,000, excuse me, reviews on him. That's insane. Campaign, like, they give him a 5 in campaign. And the truth is, a 4.5 in Ice Golem's Peak, the truth is, guys, is that he's not awful. He's cool because you can grant an extra turn if the target is killed on Crusade is A1. And what you can do is essentially go and then go again and go again and go again and just kill all the enemies as a campaign farmer. And then his Surging Strength, it grants an extra turn, so you go right back into the A1, and you can get these incredible chains of Relic Keeper essentially going 12 times in a row, you know, just killing all the enemies. The problem is he's not fast, you know, like, it's not like an AoE nuker. That takes time. So if you're using him as your campaign farmer, it's, again, that's where he naturally fits in this game. He's not an awful champion, but at the same time, it's just like he's not fast, so I never used him. I used him in Faction Wars for a little bit, and then I was able to replace him because the truth is he's just not that great. Speaking of not that great, Lordly Legionary, another cynical kind of rant for you guys in this video. Sorry again for being like super negative, but Lordly Legionary to me was a champion that Plarium put in the game as a daily login reward. They called him an epic, but he's a rare, you know? I think he's a rare champion, man. Press the fight. They make us feel excited. Oh, another free epic, but it's just like, oh, dude, he feels very underwhelming to me. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Places an extra hit if the target is under a heal reduction. 2 extra hit if it's under 100% heal reduction. Okay for Fire Knight. Okay, you know. I'd much rather have an Apothecary guaranteed 3 hits than having to land the 100% heal reduction just to get the 4 hit just for Fire Knight, you know. Outflank, attacks 1 enemy, has a chance of placing decreased speed, has a, decrease the target's turn meter if the decreased speed is placed. A lot of contingencies there on a 1-hitter. Meh. I mean, for me, why not just make it a 1-hitter and then 100% decreased speed? That's it. And reduce turn meter. Like, why not give him all those abilities? It's not that OP or anything for a 1-hitter, right? And then Legion's Orders, a reflect damage and a continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. When booked. Okay. You know? I don't know, man. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm really not. Again, he is a very niche Fire Knight champion that you can use in Fire Knight if you don't have any other like counterattack, or he'd be a member of like an early game slow Fire Knight team or mid game. Certainly not in-game viable, in my opinion. And this might be the most controversial one that I put on the list, guys. I know a lot of you guys are fans of him because I see you in the comments, but at the same time, I don't want to pander and not include a champion that I'm not a big fan of just because you guys are. So, judge me if you want, but I just want to be honest. So this champion, Ultimate Galek, I just feel like he's too much contingency on him again, for my taste, okay? Burning Rage is main ability where he lands the HP burn, for spiders especially, right? It's in all enemies 2 times, place the HP burn, 50% chance, so it's not a lock that you're even landing the HP burn. Attack 2 times, each has a 50% chance, so it's not guaranteed. And he needs to be under increased attack buff for it to even land at all. And then has an extra shot of decreasing turn meter by 20% if the target is under the HP burn debuff. Not a bad ability, but also keep in mind it's a 4-turn win book, so you have to invest a lot of books into this champion, and you have to, in order to get his full value, you have to fully book this champion. So again, rather expensive for not even a guarantee that you're going to be landing the HP burns on a consistent basis. HP burn will go for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. On the A2, excuse me, this is where you get the shot at landing the increased attack on him. So you have to go into the Crushing Hopes before you go into the Burning Rage, otherwise you won't have the increased attack, otherwise you can't do the HP burn. You see what I'm saying with this champion? I mean, otherwise you have to pair him with an increased attack, a champion on your team to get the full value out of this champion. So again, it's just one of those, and again on his A1 too, has a chance of landing HP burn, if this champion is under increased attack. So again, it's important to start out with the Crushing Hopes or an increased attack buff on this champion. Wow. All of that on top of Brush It Off, an amazing passive, an OP passive ability, fully heals this champion and instantly removes any stun debuffs whenever an enemy places a stun debuff on this champion. But where are you using this, man? Like, he is a spider champion. He's not really a clan boss champion, you know? He has HP burn, but he's not adding much to the equation, much to the table other than that. And you don't use him in arena, really. He's not an arena champion either. He's not a nuker per se. So I don't know, man. I'm just not a huge fan of Ultimate Galactic. You can tell me in the comments why I'm wrong. What am I missing? Because I know a lot of you guys love this champion. But again, just being real with you guys. And last but not least, we're not going to be too hard on this guy because he's an uncommon champion. No, it's not Armiger. He's actually really solid. It's Outlaw Monk. So I did this just to make a guide on him. And I might even delete the guide because truthfully, the more thought I've given Outlaw Monk, the sell on Outlaw Monk is he's an uncommon champion, super easy to get, super easy to upgrade, to rank up, to level up, and so on and so forth. Foul Play places 2 poison debuffs on the target for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So like he's really solid for early game clan boss. That's about it, right? He has very low defense at 694, low space. All his stats are low, right? So he's not bringing anything else to the table. He barely even stays alive. Honestly, this is a type of champion that even though he's an uncommon, very easy to upgrade, even if you're starting the game, you're like 1 week or 2 weeks into the game, I think in hindsight, I wouldn't even advise people waste their time on Outlaw Monk. I mean, Kale's a million times better. Just put your energy and resources into Kale and then look for that second poisoner, in time, rather than waste, chickens or feeding champions to get Outlaw Monk 6-star. To me, I would not advise it. And in that regard, I regret it. I don't regret doing the guide on him, but at the same time, I don't even know if I'd recommend, honestly, even early game players, let alone mid game or late game players, upgrade him. So guys, those are my champions. Let me know what champion you regret upgrading the most in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree on any of these champions? Let me know again in the comments, guys. I appreciate you watching all the way till the end. And as always, take care, guys.